on mission. I'm trying to get it right. Transition, changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission, trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life, making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, ooh. Trying to mission, I'm on a mission. On a mission, I'm trying to get it right. Changing the way that I see life. Transition in my life. On a mission, on a mission, on a mission.
Yes, welcome. You have now entered the realm of alchemizing energy. We are talking about relationships, examining African American relationships with preference dating. We also have the co-host Betty Fran, and preference dating is a dating app that you can find on any mobile app right now. And what it uses is video to be able to find your love, like the person that you're interested in, versus just using pictures. So that's a great thing that this app is able to bring to the table. Shouts out to Preference. And we're talking about dating tonight. We're talking about like the male and female relationship. You can find the Preference app at any app store, Apple and Google. And please support the Preference app. It's called Preference Dating. So before I start the show, I want to introduce my panelists. Welcome to the stage. Well, we're going to first start off with Betty Fran, who is the co-host. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone.
And then welcome Preference Dating. Let's hear a little bit about your app and the dating aspect of it, and let's hear about what your app is.
Okay, and you can just call me Preference. It ought to be Preference Dating, but just Preference. So yeah, you explained it very well. Everybody has a preference, and that was the whole concept of me. God blessing me to be able to come up with the idea to create the app. And yeah, it's different than the rest of them as far as it is video. So you get to see a person with a 30-second profile before, if you want to click on it and start chatting with them. So it's just not a catfishing. We're cutting down the catfishing aspect of it, which adds more security when it comes to dating.
Wow.
Well, is it a long application?
No.
No. Because I think that's what really turned me off about dating apps and all of that. It's it's a long application, and I understand that you got to do, for security and nobody catfishing, but I just want to know if it's a long application to go through it, because that's the hardest.
That's a great question. But no, upon designing it, I wanted everything simplified, because I know a lot of apps, like you said, have 100 questions of this, that, and other. No.
And
right
then
now,
you got to write your story. Yes.
No. So right now, the app is actually paused on the platforms because it's being updated, because we're adding some new AI features. This is, of course, for the communication part, not for the videos and the profile, just for the communication part, and the algorithm, to help with the algorithm with matching. So no, to answer your question, no, it's not a long process. I think it's 5-6 questions, because overall you'll know because of their short sentence bio that they give about themselves. And overall, when you do your video profile, you're talking about who you are and what your preference is. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So you don't have to
Yep.
read and you don't have to do all that. You're listening to a person talk. You're seeing how they act, maneuver. So with that being said,
Right.
that takes out a lot. Why are we sitting up here typing up a whole biography when you can just hear the person say it for themselves?
Right, because you would type up a whole biography and then
And it'd
see
be
all
a
these
catfish.
pictures. Yeah, and you see all these pictures. But I like how, that is to where you would see like their video and all that stuff. Now,
Yeah.
when you pick somebody, do you automatically go to like a FaceTime or,
No, no. I
no.
am so big. I am such an intrusive person by nature. Well, then I guess I'm outrovert. What is it? Introvert. But
Yep.
I love
Extrovert.
my extrovert. Yeah, I love my privacy as an individual. I love my privacy. I do not like when somebody just FaceTime me all of a sudden and intrude in my space. You know what I'm saying? I might be not have my hair on or something. Ain't no telling. But overall,
Right.
so no, what happens is the chat box drops down and you can start, send a message to them and they'll receive a message saying that somebody's interested in them and they'll look at your video and then see your
Mm.
profile. And then if they're interested, then they'll click and then y'all can start chatting back and forth and then y'all go from there. If not, then they swipe and then they just don't do anything. There's no connection at all.
So is there a fee with this or?
Yes, it is a subscription. There's a basic subscription fee. Then there is a mid-level, which offers a business and a personal
Mm-hmm.
interaction. So say you have your own business and you want to promote that along with, your personal. So you can have a personal app that you're dealing with people personal, and then you can connect with people that is dealing with whatever your business is, whether it's, say you sell t-shirts or something, you need whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can find other like-minded business people to match with and network with. And then there
Oh,
is
okay.
there's a top tier that adds more benefits also, but it's more like your doctors, you know, just a different, your platinum, say that's your platinum package.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring these young ladies on because I wanted to like talk about dating. A lot of times, we have the manosphere that talks about how like the black woman is too masculine and all this other crazy stuff. And then you have people that will get online and just talk about the differences between African American women and also other races. So it's interesting. So what happened is Notorious actor, the guy that was in the Notorious B.I.G. movie, was on this panel. And let's give a shout out to Atlanta Black Star for this. But he talked about. I'm going to only show a little bit of it, but how what the differences are in dating and how he felt about it. So we're going to start off with this, and I want to really get into like what the misconceptions are when it really comes down to how these men are really viewing us in dating. So let's go.
I was dating Puerto Rican, I was dating Dominican, I was dating African, I was dating all type of other really size American black, right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable
Give me
with.
some examples.
Oh man, I mean, their mannerisms were different. Like even my Indian one was from Syria, one of the countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do and be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with our own American.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt it because you don't even know where she's from. How in the hell can you respect a woman and you don't even know where she's from, bro?
Well, he said from India.
That's how much he valued her as a person more so than her physical and how she's treated. He don't care nothing about her. He just going about how she treats him and what he looks like with her on his shoulder. That's
Right.
it.
And then he says my Indian one. So it's almost like he's talking about a object versus a person. My Indian one, right? What? So let's go. Well, let me play some more.
Black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, We can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Ruth Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that. Then I get somebody that's just as fine, Cuban or Colombian. They don't care about nothing. They care about you and your household, even though they still care about the money, but it's not about the money. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's a difference, not better.
So hold on.
Sometimes we get tired of hearing.
Hold on. It is definitely about the money.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I don't know why he think that somebody would be dating him, the how he looking.
And it's not about the money.
And it's not about the money. It is one about citizenship and two about the money.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
He lying to himself if he really believed that. I'm sorry, y'all.
Right. And then, but I have to say something. Like he said, Cuban, and it seemed like they love money too, and they love expensive shit too. Can I say shit on
and then it's a poor country. Not that I'm saying anything about their country, but I'm saying we know that it is one of the poor countries. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
They see American men as fools, and of course they know that they are their preference is those type of women. So all they do is be who they are and what their culture is of loving. And there's nothing wrong with the woman. This is not about the woman. The woman is fine, but the men are going over there like predators to get these women, knowing that some of them are in destitute, some of them are in need of green cards and all that in order to get away from the situations they're in. What's the difference from that and a female that's from the projects? Why can you invest in more from a female that's over in another country and build her up or take care of her, let her live in her feminine energy compared to a woman that is here that could do the same exact thing?
And I know damn well the no woman from the projects is like, you got to take me to Ruth Chris. Come on now.
And what's wrong with a woman knowing what she wants? You ask me what I want to eat, I'm telling you what I want to eat.
Right. Correct.
So you have a problem because I want steak, I want to eat good. I mean, what? I don't want McDonald's like he looked like he been eating.
And plus, when you go on a date, you want to go and experience something different. So that's why they want to go to the Ruth Chris and they want to go to different places they have not experienced. You know, that's just how it is. Like when I go on a date, I pick like the maybe expensive, a little expensive, because I want to experience. And then I want to see how that person is. Are you stingy? Are you tight with your money? Anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I just want to see. And then, I mean, after that, like if we go to Wendy's or McDonald's and I'm really feeling you, I'm not going to. Right.
It's not it's not that you're trying to be bougie and all that kind of stuff every day. It's not that you're trying to live like that every day. But what's wrong if you say, "Hey, baby, you want to go out? Where you want to go?" And you choose a nice place. First of all, let's get something straight. A man is supposed to take the lead anyway. So if he already, why don't he say, "I made reservations at X, Y, and Z," or "Hey, I made plans to do X, Y, and Z for us." You see what I'm saying?
Correct. Yep.
And she followed his lead on where they're going because he's giving her an experience into the world that he wants her to see. We want to see what you are setting up for us.
But
why does it have to be what you asking me? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that's okay for this younger crowd and a little bit older. Like they don't take the lead anymore. It seemed like females is taking the lead more than ever. And then when they give us that opportunity to take the lead, then they want to say we're too manly. We're trying to act like a man. We're trying to do this. No, you gave that to us. Like take the lead for yourself, because I like when a man take a lead. I like that. I like a strong man.
Yes. Yeah.
And
because
I try to instill that in my kids.
Physique. Yes, I'm strong man is not about physique. It's about mental the mental lead, the mental strength to say, okay, I want to take this young lady here. I want to take this woman here because I want her to experience this. That's how we scale back and be in our feminine energy, because we're
But
already being taken. You see what I'm saying?
yep. And
But if
now you see where he's coming from. He's coming from to where he's weak. Because when you date outside your race and you want somebody else, well, she treats me like a king. They don't want to work for that anymore. What is wrong with you working for me treating you like a king? You'll get treated like that, honey, as long as you showing me that masculinity, that strongness that I like.
that healthy masculinity. Yeah, the
Right,
one that, yeah, it's
right.
a difference. Yeah, but that masculine health, that healthy masculine energy, where you know who you are as a man and your purpose, and you know what it is that you need in your life, and not just what your. And then start getting into the whole, are you with your preference? Are you settling? Are you with it? But yes, absolutely.
And
Um,
I wanted to say something too about this because Vet is my cousin, right? And when I turned a certain age, her mother and my auntie, both of my aunties sat me down and they both said, listen, you know, wait until you turn a certain age. You know what I'm saying? Because they all were married to their husbands, and I guess whatever they experienced, it was like, you know what, don't do it like we did. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, there must be a reason why these elders sit the woman down and say this thing. I mean, what do you think about that?
It's because they want you to experience life. Know who you are as an individual young lady and as a woman before you start giving up your identity as a wife and as a mother.
Correct. Yep,
So
I
when you start
agree.
out too young, you get married too young. Now you haven't lived life. You haven't did
No,
anything.
And listen, I
you have.
followed their advice to the teeth, and I was able to travel to different countries. I was able to get to a certain point before I started any real relationship or even had children. I did not have children at a young age. I waited till I was 30 because that's what they told me, and I followed their direction. And when I get on these different panels, especially with these red pill guys, they're like, so you waited until you were 30, and you're hitting the wall and I'm like, well, no, I had the children I want. I did exactly what I was told, and I'm happy with my results. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? When I first had my first child, I was able to take care of her, whether the father was there or not.
You
Correct.
know,
I want to
as
give my aunties like the biggest shouts out. Thank you, Auntie Genevieve and Auntie Justine, for directing me on that.
good job. Yeah, it's good that you listen.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of the wisdom that our elders tell us and try to educate us on, and a lot of young people don't listen at all.
But these days, it's a lot of single moms out there. Like it's so sad because you have boys. Like I have boys. I got two boys, and I didn't have the luxury to have their fathers, like to help them. So I had to try to mold my kids, my boys, into men. And I mean, and that is like a really tough thing to say, but that's where a lot of these kids now and young adults, they see, they don't value their own race, which is African American, Black. They don't value like their moms. They want something else because it's like, I can't even put it in perspective, like what they would want, what they want. What do y'all think? Like, what do they want? Because there's a lot of single Black moms out here.
I personally just think that these young boys that grow up, they watch a lot of porn, they watch a lot of entertainment, and the things that are glorified sexually, the things that are glorified in entertainment is light white. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they think that, they think that that's the way to go. They're not searching for those women to um, to be the roots, to be the root nurture of their Black children. You know what I'm saying? To be able to teach their Black children about, what we know. You know what I'm saying? Is
But
for being Black. They
but it
marry. Go ahead. They date those women and all that because they don't want that. They don't want, a 4C daughter, hair daughter, or boy, son. They want that lighter skin, this and other, because they feel like they'll have a better life. They feel like it makes them look good. That's all it is. It make it feel like they look good. It looks good on their arms for the women, and it looks for their children to be mixed like that. But it's really a self-hate, though. That's what it boils down to. It's a self-hate.
but it's crazy because black men come from a black woman.
Let me say this also. I'm sorry, Ms. Beth. Let me tell you to say this. I am for interracial dating now. I am
Okay.
one, I am 100% for interracial dating because just like we're talking about, like he's talking about how the white women and the Indian women and Cuban women treat him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
White men and other cultures of men, ethnicities of men treat Black women that way.
Yes, they do.
So
I agree. I agree. I
so
agree.
I will not sit up here and be like, oh, no, hey, girl, take him. Because really, those, we already know what those, take him. We're okay with you having him, that Black man. You know what I'm saying? We're this man right here in this picture video right here, honey, sis, take him. You got him, girl.
Right.
Okay, cousin, have fun. Do you see
Birthday
what I'm
bags
saying?
and
Do you
sushi.
think
But
that's fair?
see, I'm
Because I
not
feel like there's a certain type of woman
Right.
that does demand that. And to
Right.
me, I think it depends on the bait you're using and where you're looking. If you're going to go get a model from Instagram that got the BBL, the snatching stomach, and has all the things that check off money hungry and surface, you're going to get that. If you're going to meet a girl and through different ways and ask different questions, you're going to find that out a lot earlier on that was important to her.
I'm not doubting that, but I'm just talking about even if you look on just a regular dating app and just look at what a woman may state that she requires, I'm saying these things because it feels as if social media again is the barometer, okay, and it's the comparison, and when you're comparing yourself to all these other women, and of course, even with the BBLs, I'm like, that's fine, but I mean,
What's BBL? I'm sorry.
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
And it's no
Right.
shade to women that have
No,
them. I'm just
I was
saying.
wondering. I was waiting for it too. I'm like, excuse me.
It's no shade to everyone that has them. I'm just
No.
saying, if you're going by just surface things and that's who you're going afterwards, then guess what? She gonna run them pockets.
No, and I'm not, and I want to get your thoughts, Doc, and as well, Amy, as a woman dating or even considering, I think that a lot of times, we do value women, but when you talk about Black relationships, I think we all come with some baggage. All right. Now, some of us have some baggage that's not going to fit in the overhead compartment, and some of us have some baggage that you're going to have to pay a whole lot more for to get on this flight. Right.
Yeah, but like, okay, I want to go back to interracial dating. I mean, I'm all for it as well. I'm not even going to sit here and say I don't like it. But only thing I don't like when a black man talk about interracial dating and this is what he likes. It's like almost he disvalues the black woman. Like, and you came from a black woman, and that's where I was coming from, to where you should still cherish your black women, but you can date whoever you want to date. Do you get what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Because
Yes,
they
you're
talk
absolutely
about
right.
it, and then it's like almost, ooh, black women, ooh. No, don't say that. Okay, that's your preference. You like to date outside of your race. That is your preference. But you should never put a black woman down. That's all I'm saying is just give us the respect and then don't put us down because a lot of races put black women down. If you a strong black woman, you are too much for society. Do y'all agree or not? Because
Yes.
yes. And then don't have like, okay, this is what I hate is when, just like he said, baggage. Black women have baggage, but we can never come back from our mistakes. But other people, other races can. Like for instance, Caucasian woman, she can be out there so promiscuous with a lot of males, and then she get in a relationship with a black man, a Caucasian man, it doesn't matter. Oh, that was her past. She's not like
Well,
that
that's the
anymore.
mentality. But see, that's the mentality. Okay, let me address the first part. I believe that everything that you're saying is absolutely true as far as how society view things, and especially the black men, and how you're right. They should be able to date who they want, but do not um, disrespect or disregard the black woman, because that is where you
Correct.
come from. You can still love black women and respect them and still have your preference. And that's really a a healthy minded individual. That's what they would do. Just like if a black woman's dating or marrying a white man or anybody else, doesn't mean that she bashed black men. You know what I'm saying? Because we
Right,
all
right,
know all black men aren't bad, all black women aren't bad, toxic and bad, all white men aren't good, and all white women aren't good. So with that being
correct.
said, there should be no hate or disdain for any of us. We're all in this together, right?
Right,
So
right,
I'm
correct.
totally agree with you on that. When it comes to um, what was the last thing that you were just talking about? How what was it that you were just saying? I'm sorry.
My
After that,
thought train.
no, it was a really good
Monica,
point.
yeah, my train of thought. I was just thinking
No,
about,
she was
I
just
don't know.
saying that it should not be a matter of when it comes down to interracial dating where you would put down the black woman. If that's your
Yeah,
preference, that should be your preference. It don't mean you have to diss one over the other. Just have your
Uh,
preference and keep it moving.
and
yeah.
then
She
I
said
was
something
talking
else
about the
again.
baggage. The
Right there.
baggage. Uh-huh.
Yes, everybody who has as of a certain age. No. Everybody has baggage.
Yes, they do.
Every everybody has baggage. Period. And I don't know why anybody would think that a Latino woman, a Latino man, or African, and everybody have baggage. Whether it's childhood trauma baggage, whether it's a bad first relationship baggage, whether it's a baby mama, baby daddy, ex-husband, ex-wife, health issues, financial issues. Everybody has some type of baggage. Everybody's not going to therapy. And
No.
if you're in therapy, you still have baggage because you're trying to unlayer. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to unlayer the onion of the baggage.
Yeah, but what I was saying is to where
They try to put it
everybody
on the
got
black woman.
right. They put it on the black woman, and to where like
It's
we
something
can't get
negative.
rid of our baggage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you meet someone and you start like really feeling them, and you're telling them your story, and
But
you
that's black
really
men, though. That's not, and I'm not gonna say all black men. That's these type of black men. Because at the end of the day, healthy black men do not think about all that. Well, just like when
right,
you talk about, when you hear these guys talk about 50-50 and all that type of stuff, wealthy men, many conversations with them, wealthy men will tell you they do not care anything about a woman that they're interested in, her credit score, how much money she got in the bank, where she working, because he already isn't in position to provide. It's only the
man.
broke, struggling ones and the ones that living paycheck to paycheck, or the ones that, is worried about this dropping off, that's worried about 50-50. A man
Please
that
send
is,
them my way. Please send
yeah.
them my way, because I have not I have not met anybody or like that. I need to attract
I've
that.
never had a man ask me about no 50-50 ever. And I mean, and that's when I was even dating Thug. Anybody ever talk about no 50-50? But no. And the crazy part about it, you hear white men, and I'll send you this link that I be watching, that I follow him and everything. But he tell women all the time. He tell you, if a man started to talk like this, that, and the other, and he's wealthy. He said, let him go. He's not in position. Because that's where the
Right.
friction is. That's the only reason there's a debate and the friction and the agitation in these men's voice and spirit, they're not in position.
Correct.
There was a song back in the day that said, it ain't tricking if you got it. Remember how they be like, oh, man, you tricking on that man? Hey, it ain't tricking if you got it. It's only tricking to you because guess what? It's going to affect you by her having that purse or whatever. You got to go look in your bank account and see, dog, I got to work overtime. I got to hustle overtime to get that money back. Because who is sitting up here arguing? Who's arguing about taking a woman or having a problem with taking a woman to Ruth's Chris?
I know.
Who?
Him,
them, those kind. That's why we can't be distracted, because social media will distract us to think, because that's what's on the news feed, that is those type of men everywhere, and it's not true. I mean, those type of men are everywhere, but there's not the mass of men. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, and tell the audience, please. I mean, there is like healthy Black women that are that are just a beautiful soul. Like they're not how they like. They always say that the dirty, grimiest hood person, her hood female, that's what they think we all are. That type of person.
Well, then they really can't, because then the next argument is a woman with so many degrees and got her own have her own home and got money in the bank. Now she's too independent. So what, you know what I'm saying? So you're putting it on the line that either she's ghetto, loud and ghetto and broke and on Section 8 and all that, or if she's not that, then still on that same line, right across it is she's super educated, has a high earning career. You know what I'm saying? She don't have any children. She hasn't been married. Great credit score, but she's too independent. She's too masculine.
Let me just cut in for a minute. I have like somebody, I was getting my hair braided, and somebody asked me, I mean, they said the person they work with asked them, because they knew me, and it was a female. She said, I just want to know why she never been married, like talking about me, and how can you say that? There's millions of people my age has not been married yet, but I've been in long-term relationships. I've been with people, and my baby's fathers and all that stuff, but I just never been married.
Well, I mean, you really, first of all, the answer is it's none of your business.
Correct.
And then second of all, a lot of people should take marriage really serious, and they see it as being sacred. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of people out here that would say, well, I date and I could be with somebody for a period of time. And even while you're dating them and been with them years, you can see this might not be the person I spend the rest of my life with, but I still enjoy their company. I still love this person. But I know that, those vows that we make, I won't be able to uphold that with this person. So we just enjoy each other's time. And even it's an unspoken commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we're together, we're good, we love each other, we might have a child and all that kind of stuff. But what type of, the man and the characteristics of a man and a woman or whatever that you would want to be able to spend the rest of your life with, to make these certain sacrifices and stuff with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But look at the people that do jump into these marriages. You got people that's been married 4, 5, 6 times because they use it as a placement. They don't value the sacredness of what marriage is really about. So
and I'm not trying.
And even the scripture says it's better for you not to marry if you're not going to do it right.
And then I'm not trying to say like I never was asked to be married. I was asked many times. No, not you. I'm just saying I was asked to be married. I was, engaged or whatever. But it always to where, just like you said, God reveals something and say, "Oh no," because if I make this union with that person, then I might be like I'm like bound. I take it seriously. You know, so and then I can't walk away that quick.
Nope.
And I lived with somebody for 20 years, and it was hard to walk away because we had a lot of stuff, like a lot of things that we had together that we had to unravel.
Right.
So just imagine if I was married to him, it would have been even worse, because I would have had to go to a lawyer, had to go to court, had to do this.
And then you would
But
have to break your vow that you made between the 3-chord vow and chord that you had with God.
Yep,
You see
with
what I'm saying?
God.
People miss that in
Yep,
there of why, like, you know what? I promised God, I made this commitment to God and my husband that this is what I'm going to do to that do his part, and I made this commitment. And so when you have that, it makes you stay and try to work it out even more because as an honest person, that's what you want to do. Fulfill your commitments. But when you're not
right.
married and you'd be like, yeah, no. Now I'm for marriage. I'm all for marriage, but at the same time, I'm for having healthy relationships also. And if I
Me
just
too.
don't see that it's that, and my peace and all those good things, that I just will not at this time.
So Gamer 100 says people have a couple of bad experiences and they give up on black dating. Honestly, most men want to provide 100%, but they're not willing to put in more work.
Absolutely. He just said that. That other guy, the guy, he just said that when he said she wants this and she want me to work hard for her up here, where the other woman, she doesn't require all that. So because a black woman require you to be the best version of yourself,
Yes,
and
yes.
because we're mirroring each other at some point, that you're supposed to be sharpening me up to be the best version of myself and supporting me as well as I'm supporting you and our goals and everything. That's too much.
Yeah,
I
like
want,
that.
I want you
That
as a
pushes
king.
too much.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you want me to see you as a king, but you acting as a peasant. You moving
Right.
like a peasant. You thinking like a peasant.
Mm-hmm. So let's go into this. This is another show I was watching. Let's check this one out.
I want to know if a woman date. As my like, fuck it. Let me ask you, right? If a woman date outside her race and she say fuck black men and stuff like that, right? Does she deserve whatever comes with that? Like,
No,
does she?
nobody deserves that type of trauma, nothing like that. My theory is this is my theory. You can date whoever you want. If you're a woman and say you only date white men, just don't say shit about black men. If you're a black man and you only date white women, don't say shit about black women. You know what I'm saying? You
Correct.
just stick with what if you say I only date this certain way, just leave us alone. Leave the black men, leave black women alone. Just don't say shit.
It's not even that. You don't. It's blind hate. You don't need to down someone else to say.
Great point.
I like big girls, bro. I don't deal with skinny women.
Yeah.
I don't hate skinny women. My best friend in the world is a skinny woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to, just because my preference of a person or my preference of a woman or you know what I'm saying? Like, my girl's a thick girl. My wife's a thick girl. Like, that's just my preference. I don't have to bash anything else.
Exactly.
You don't deal with black women. You just don't deal with black women, bro. You don't got to speak on it. Then that be the problem. It's, well, these black women and they're this and that. Bro, shut the fuck up.
Look at this. And look at this, DB. Look at this, right? Y'all hear, ladies. Y'all hear how the fellas answer. When Shannon shot, y'all was violated.
Monica, I was just about to say that. Here's a panel right here of men with the same mindset and energy of how we're talking right here. So this is how you know there are good men on the same, mind, with the same thinking and values about dating.
Yep.
It just, everybody needs to match it. Well, he's married, but I'm just saying people need to be able to link up to know, okay, this is my village, this is my people. You know what I'm saying? This is my person. But when you have all this distraction out there with social media and all that kind of stuff, it's so hard for people to meet the right person.
So what was crazy? What I found out is the manosphere was actually started by the white man, right? And somehow the black man took it over and began to really proliferate it. I mean, they are dominating, but it was really started in a whole nother culture. And like I said, we just know how to us as black people, we will take something and we will blow it up. Okay. And now you don't see as many white men talking about from manosphere perspective. Now you're seeing the black. Do you think that was by design?
I think that it is by design that black men and black women are divided. So yes, anything that disrupts, distracts, or separate black men and black women, as far as in this system of things, this system, society, yeah, it's by design. One is by design by the devil himself, and then two by the people that know how powerful it is for us to be together.
And so now you have all these trials, you have all these things, Tory Lanez shooting people in the foot, you got P. Diddy with the freak offs.
Tory Lanez did not shoot
That's
at
what I was gonna say. Allegedly,
Right. So you see in the media also, you see like this pushing of demonizing the black man. Do you think that right now there's a concept they're demonizing the black man as a violent, sexual, like over the top,
toxic,
sexual,
deviant,
and then they're within our own black men are demonizing the woman as ghetto, ratchet, and they want to focus on our hair. Well, you ain't got your own hair in your head, and blah, blah, blah. What do you think this is for? Why do you think that they're doing it?
I don't think they're doing that. I think it's all in the individual as of now. It's all in the individual. Because just like if you go back, okay, with Diddy's trial and all of that, we're not going to get on the trial, but just to touch on it, like as him as a black man, and there's a lot going on with that with him, that's his own. I don't think it's every black man. Like I don't.
You're absolutely right. That's his own sickness.
Yep, that's his own.
That stemmed from his mom. You see what I'm saying? He got like when he was born, he wasn't born like that. He was taught that. And from what is being said and what's out there is he learned that from his mother. That sexual deviant, her being a madam and being and doing the things that she was doing and had around him, and what she introduced him and who she introduced him to and had him doing, created who you see now as Diddy. So he's only living the life that he was made to live. You see what I'm saying?
So with that being said, then
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, and I don't agree that it's all on his mom. I feel sorry for his mom even going through this. Like, I mean,
wait. Do you know the history of his mom?
don't. Huh?
Do you know the history of his mom?
Yes. And
so you know, go ahead.
But I understand the history of his mom, and he went through all that stuff and seen a lot. But you can't put it after a certain age. It's just like, I can't even say it with, just like when you teach your son, right? Okay. Because I was a single mom. She was a single mom, and her husband, her baby's father, which was Diddy's father, got killed. So she was a single mom. So she grew him up the best she could. But there had to be, I know she wasn't just teaching him all that stuff and then the freak offs with Cassie and stuff, how to do all. I just don't see that. I see that he got power through his money, through his businesses, and he was the CEO of all these people that he can control. He was just acting the part. Because believe me, a lot of people in his position is just as mean as him.
You know what? I can say this. Right. Hold on. I'm going to say this real quick and then I'm going to let you go, Zarina. I agree with Vet because you know what? P. Diddy, before he did all this, he went to Howard University. I think he got his degree at Howard, then he moved up to Uptown and all this other stuff. So I don't think that she raised him like a hood person. He went to college.
Okay.
And he graduated from college, and I think from what I understand is that he was also special education. So to come from a special education into college and then go to a very well-pronounced African-American university and then I think he graduated, I'm not sure. And then
but he was like in college, they say that he was like the same way. But I think when he got that status, because in college they said he had a little status too, because he used to have parties, he used to do all that stuff. But I think once a man get a certain status on them, they think they the world.
Okay.
And I know you met him. I know Monica. I know you have met. Y'all all have met these people.
I've met people that have certain status. I'm saying the type.
Oh, you're talking about people
when they get the money, they start to acting out. You know what I'm saying? They get because I've heard. Right. Shout out to Napasha Da. She's talked about how she was married to an NFL or NBA and NFL player. She said the freak offs from that will make the P. Diddy thing like lunch meat. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
So I totally understand what you ladies are saying, that yes, at a certain age that that they are responsible for their own decisions and where they want to go in their life and actions, right? However, any therapist, one-on-one, the first thing that you talk about that your therapist is going to talk to you about is
your childhood.
And even the Bible, and I'm not going to get too deep into that, but you can tell the tree, you can tell the tree by the fruit that it bears. Period. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, yes, his mother, yes, she was a single woman, dad got killed. All that is so absolutely true. She had her own trauma. With this situation, it is about mom because she groomed him. It's not that he just saw, she was doing her own. No, she groomed him to be like he is. Yes, it's out there. The information is out there. They said he grew up watching his mom have freak offs and all that. His mom is the one who turned him on to the white men to get the money for his record for Bad Boys. His mom was a pimpstress, a madam.
Right.
His mom was a whole madam. She had him in that lifestyle. So what did you see as a madam? I mean, you saw sex, drugs, orgies. You saw all kind of sick stuff. He lived in that. But just because you're smart and you go off to college, there's a lot of smart serial killers out there. What's his name? The white dude who was very smart and handsome and everything, and still killing himself. Yeah, so that has nothing to do about intellect. It has to do with your desires.
King Isa says all those great schools and achievements don't have anything to do with his mental health and what he experienced and saw as a child.
Yes.
And that's coming from a dude, so yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And so his mom has to be held accountable for that. Why do you think they said that, they was somewhere and he slapped his mom and I wasn't there, so I'm gonna say allegedly, but that's just talk about how him and his mom got along. And so to have that type of, he looks at her just like he looks at, he doesn't have any true love for women because he's seen women be so discarded and so disrespected and so used like cum rags.
Well, there was
and then the flip side of that, on the gay side of it, his mom pushed him to be with these executive white men in order to get the funding for his label.
Is that allegedly? Because
No, that's factually.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna say allegedly until
we're saying allegedly on everything in here, but yes, this whole channel is allegedly. But that's without. Yes, but that's.
But if you go back into Richard Pryor had almost the same as him. the same past, because he grew up in a brothel. He grew up, he grew up with all drugs in front of him,
And
everything.
he was a crackhead.
And he
He's a
was and he
very
was and he was
bisexual
homosexual and he
crackhead in
was a great.
orgies.
Yep.
Yep, he did. He did.
So it goes back to your childhood.
So Gamer
And
said if you were raised that way, you would think it morally right. So that's one of the things.
Yep, correct. You would think
because
it's
you have to
morally
think about
right.
it, your wiring in your whole brain, like the first say an innocent child or whatever, just innocent, and then they stumble upon a porn video or porn magazine or something. From the moment that they see that, their wiring in their brain is never the same as before then.
Right.
I
Do
remember
you understand that?
I did see porn at a very young age, and it did like, what the hell am I looking at? So I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
myself as well. And so, yes. And why do you think that females that are and males that are, especially children that are sexually assaulted, which they become very promiscuous. And not only do they become very promiscuous, then they turn to drugs to numb the hurt from what they went through. So did it just ain't never
Hey,
got R. Kelly? There's another prime example. R. Kelly, his own sister was sexually molesting him and his brother at an early age.
yep, correct.
And then the man down the street raped him, sexually assaulted him.
Really?
Oh, I never heard that one.
Yes. And then he tried to have him bring his brothers and other boys down there, but they ran off when they saw he was like, he's acting weird and da da da. And they ran off, but then they knew that he had been messed with. And I think as they said, yes, the same exact way. And what are we talking about? Sex orgies. We're talking about drugs. We're talking about and because he was, it's all the same.
Yeah. And by the way, I just want to say this.
R.
I just want to
Kelly,
say this. Hold on, let me just say this. Listen, this is for educational purposes. The things that we're talking about might be controversial, but it's mainly for educational purposes. This is not a thing of being vulgar or anything like that. We're just really trying to delve deep into the things that cause, like in relationships, why do they break down? We're talking about the actual trauma that happens within a person's life that cause them to act out and be nefarious or be kind of like end up in these weird like subversive swinger type of lifestyles, you know what I'm saying?
But don't y'all agree? Don't you agree when there's money added onto all of that,
it amplifies who they already are.
Yep.
That's it. That's all it is.
Because they can open up more doors and get more. They can get more things
and get away with more. Also, so Gamer 100 says, if you were raised that way, you think. Okay, he says also what you experience at school, see other kids do. When you're a kid, you're innocent, but what you see shapes your values.
Exactly. Show me who your 5 friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. Birds of a feather flock together. All those things that we were told growing up, and it's true.
Well, so here's the question.
Yeah,
so
but birds of a feather don't flock together, because you can't. I hate when people say that. I just hate that because everybody are individuals. Everybody are individuals, and then you might have a friend that's on drugs you grew up with. You might have a friend that's crazy, that's like mentally out there. You might have a friend that's promiscuous, but them are your friends, but you don't do what they do. But people will label you like you do what they do, because they always say birds of a feather flock together. No,
So it has to be some type of common denominator to why you would place yourself in all those circle of people. It has to be something that connects you to them.
Well, it might have been that what if you grow up with a person? Like, say if like you've been friends with them since the age of 6, right? And then they end up on drugs. They're still your friend. You remember them probably from before that. And here's
but if all 5 of your other friends are on drugs, something is what? Why are you there? You wouldn't be in that type of chaos. People that are strung out on drugs, of course, it's usually a lot of chaos. There's a lot of, stuff that goes on in their lives because they're battling this illness. So why would you place yourself with 4 other individuals that's dealing with this illness and you don't do drugs? Unless you're a therapist, unless you're a licensed drug addict therapist that you try. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Peacocks don't go hang with flamingos, and flamingos don't hang with whatever other kind of everybody. Yeah, so you are who you are. You are who you hang with. It has to be a common denominator somewhere around there for y'all to be able to have that friendship. Whether it's broken, y'all could all be broken.
Well, I want to say this before we listen. I'm gonna just say this. Don't you think it's odd that we're talking so much about Diddy, but the fact that Cassie, and she is raised in a 2-parent household, because they always try to say, it's the single mothers, but no, Cassie was raised in a 2-parent household, both mother and father in the situation, right? But she ends up falling prey to a person like a Diddy. So, and her father was there, because they always try to say, well, the reason why, if the father's not there, but honey, she was raised.
She was bored. She was young and night. She was completely green. She was completely green.
So do you think that because she was raised?
Let me take that back. She was not completely green because the guy that she was with before him was 15 years older than her?
Hello. So my thing. So here we go. So let's go into this, right? Because we want to blame the mother for Diddy, but what happened to Cassie? Because Cassie.
Wait, let's go back. We're not blaming his mom. We're blaming just the childhood, just what he experienced.
Okay, but I would say is that we would say that because of the single household, because of the things what he went through as a child, he ended up this way. What made Cassie end up that way? And she had a very good upbringing with a 2-family household and blah blah blah. Now I don't know her whole story. I haven't heard that she's been molested.
Yeah, we don't know her story.
Right. So, but I think it's
the only story that we've heard was just that he didn't come go get her out of high school, and she was some innocent. She might not have been super experienced, just with a lot of dating partners, but no, she was dating a whole grown man, and she was 19, 18. So, and then it was like, he had connections and he had money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's why. I'm just saying, hey, and then she ended up being with somebody else that had more money and more status.
As a black woman, do you ever even have friends? He has money, and your friends sit up there and tell you, girl, you better go on and try to be with him.
That part.
So you can get,
black woman, all females talk like that, especially white women. They all talk like that. Every female, girl, he's good.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's a doctor. He lives at this. That's how we talk. And just like men sit around and talk about, oh, she fine. She ain't got no kids. Men talk about what the things that they like and what women gonna talk about. Hey, yeah, this is where he work at. This is who he connected to. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And we have some men in the audience. I wish they would come up. I just put the StreamYard link down, but King Isa said he's driving, but he says you can have a friend you grew up with that's on drugs, but this probably isn't a person you hang out with unless you bond with drugs. And then Gamer says they can be family or friends, but you kind of distance yourself. Yes, good friends still. Yeah, so
right. Yeah, you still love them. Yeah,
but you just don't have them in your circle in your life, though. You just don't have them in your world because you can't because it's too much chaos. And it's sad. I mean, you're gonna be there for them as much as you can, but you don't want to be a crutch to them to where they're always relying to you and bringing their situation into your own home.
Now, let me give you an example. I'm gonna tell you a really personal story for me. Is that I had stepfathers that were on drugs. My mom was drinking really heavily, and she tended to date guys that were on drugs. And so I tended to, when I got older, date guys that were on drugs. Me growing up with my mom, I don't know why that was a thing. It was almost like a blindness to it, you know?
I can tell you exactly why. Because what you were used to, the energy, the spirit that you was used to being around with that type of life, that was your comfort place. That's where you felt at home. So when you start dating somebody, you want that same energy to make it feel like what's the word? Familiarity. That's your
Familiarity.
comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
so
some
here's
people
the thing,
don't know
people
how to.
listen,
Some
people
people
that's on
feel
drugs are not
uncomfortable in
evil
peace.
people. They're not like these demonic. It's just when they get on the drug, but when they're not on it, they're probably the sweetest people you ever meet. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's the part that I wasn't getting, is that, you know, I would be blinded by. I had a blindness to it. You know, it took the sister telling me, you know, he on drugs, right? And I was like,
Wow.
oh, you know, I couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times is that because when you were growing up, you know, you were so used to it, you didn't even know. And then it took me till I got older to realize, oh man, everybody was on drugs growing up. All these like
You
men
didn't recognize it because it looked
didn't
normal
recognize
to
it because it
you.
was normal to me. So that's the thing too that happened. So I think that does also happen with Diddy. I don't know what's going on with Cassie. I don't know what her family had, but the fact that she was subjected to like this whole like lifestyle, maybe it was normal for the father to be a certain way to the mother, and so therefore she felt subservient. Maybe because, you know, in Asian culture, the man is very dominant. Maybe that's kind of like something that happened to where, hey, do this. Because I think there was one point where Diddy told her, get up, stand up, go do this, go do that. And she just did it, you know, without question. Stand up, go here, sit down, stand up. And then he told everybody else, well, that's the reason why y'all ain't got no man, you know. But
But you
that
know
might,
what? But love is a crazy thing. Love will have you out there doing anything to keep your man. To some
But is it
people,
really love though?
no, it's not. But they would call it that. But
They'll
it's
call
not
it
love,
love. Because things that
right?
we know when we're in a healthy space in our own lives, we know that love will never have you out there looking crazy. Love will never have you out there disrespecting yourself. Love will never have
But
you taking two penises in your mouth and being pissed in your mouth. Love is not going to do that.
no, no, or or
Oh my goodness.
or it's not going to have you to where you're going to do it because you don't want him to do it with nobody else either.
Yeah, it's not even going to put you in those type of scenarios. Period.
No,
that's actually what
no,
Alexis K. Tyler used to say back in the day, is that you might be so used to, listen, this guy groomed her into some stuff that she has never experienced in her life. And she was only like 19 when she first started off. And then to 23, that your hippocampus, all your brain is not fully developed at that age, and this is all she knew, right? So even though she was
but
dating an older
but
man,
don't
But
you
that's the
think she
young you
opened
though.
up a Pandora's box?
but I'm saying
Because
is
what
that
if
her brain
what if
developed.
but what if he introduced, like, what if he said to her, how about a threesome? You want to do it? And then she was like, I don't know. I just don't know. You know, like, come on, you could do a threesome. And then she had to think about it. And then he had another woman over here and another woman over there. And she was jealous and she was getting mad. And then she was like, she might have talked it over with her friends and was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because I don't want him to be with nobody else. So I can keep him.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
I want that money. You know, I love that money. I mean, we have so much fun. And then, you know, like, we might do drugs and stuff. Because she was doing drugs, I think, even before him, wasn't she? She didn't
Oh, I'm not
graduate
sure.
to the she I think with the other producer, they was smoking weed or something she was doing. And then
The
it
gateway was already open, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
right, she was graduating to that when it got introduced to Diddy, but it was more on a rich man's crackhead. I call that rich man's crack. They crackheads, but they rich.
You have to remember too, just like we talked about before, he was groomed, Diddy was groomed
right,
from a young age. So he's been mastering how to groom. So he already know, yeah, Cassie might have had a couple of relationships or whatever, but she's still young. And she
right,
hasn't experienced the type of things that he was about to bring her into. So he knew
right.
how to talk to her. He knew how to bait her in. He knew all the glitz and glamour and the furs and the people and the friends and the dates. You know what I'm saying? All the friends that he's around and associates he's around. Oh yeah.
And it be your friends too around you, talking all that
Yeah.
stuff,
Then you got your own
saying
little
that.
friends around you.
Go
Yeah.
on ahead,
Yeah.
girl. That's P. Diddy. Go on ahead. Yeah. And let me tell you this. So Ronald said, can we also add in that he's a billionaire to the equation? But I'm gonna
Yes,
say this. I'm gonna say
that's
this.
what I. That's what I'm
Hold on.
saying. He's
He was not a
He
billionaire
wasn't
when
a
he was
billionaire at
getting.
that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
but he
William.
still had money. He still
Yeah.
had
He's still
money, and
doing
he
that.
had connections. If he
Yeah.
was a
Absolutely.
millionaire, if he was getting 1,000 a week, that's still some good money.
Absolutely.
William, welcome to the panel. How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah,
Um,
William.
Hello.
hey, what I got to say about the Diddy situation is it's not his money, it's the influence that he had over her. Because like, if you got an older brother or older sister, you tend to look up to them. So um you just try to do a lot of things to impress them and get in good graces with them because you know what I'm saying, they older than you and you feel like the stuff that they doing is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that that's Diddy. Like,
Well, that's the whole part of how Rico is able to work is because they can use their power, they can use their money, and they can use their influence to make people do things that they normally wouldn't do. They
But
make, you know what I'm saying? People,
that wasn't his sister or brother. That was his lover. That was somebody
yeah.
he was having sex with. So that was
But
more, more deeper on that level than sister brother.
hold on. But
And
did he treat Kim, whatever the girlfriend Kim Porter, the same way? From what I
The exact
understand,
same way.
he did. Because what I understood is that he was in love with Kim Porter, and
That's the narcissistic part about it. They can't truly love
yeah,
because they
he's
really
a
just love
narcissist.
themselves. They can't.
Yep.
They don't. They can act like they love. They can believe they love, but it's really not in them to love anything other than themselves. The more.
okay. So I want to
So we
play
Correct.
got to
this.
come back to
I want to
how
play.
does it benefit them.
I want to play
Oh,
a
I'm
little
sorry.
more of this video because I want to hear like what y'all got to say about it. Let's go.
They've been
Okay, go
dating
ahead.
white
Nobody
people.
deserves
All white
nobody deserves to be lied on, to be beaten on, to be assaulted. If you date who you date, you just date who you date. But nobody deserves like
Now, when it comes to
violent
athletes, when it comes to
violent
athletes and stuff,
punishment. I
right?
wouldn't suggest
When
that.
it comes to athletes and stuff, we've seen this 1,000 times. Black athletes date these white women, and then they take them for money, you know what I'm saying? So it's the stereotypical shit. Like,
Well, look
at
at
the end
that.
of
But
the
black
day,
women don't go after athletes for money. Look at
that's what I'm about to say.
But athletes don't.
All right. So he just said that Cassie is not even black. Okay. And so, do you think it's a matter of like a person that's of another race preying on a black guy that is a black guy, like trying to get his money, or do you think it's because of his race, or because he says that who is Cassie to a billionaire? She's not even black. Oh my G. So let's go. Anyone? What's your thoughts on that?
What
I
is
don't.
what is her race? Like I thought that she was mixed. She was mixed with black and Asian.
Well, if you look it up, it'll say that her mother is a mixture of Mexican and Jamaican
Uh-huh.
and Native American, and then her father is Filipino.
Well, she had black in her, so she black.
Yeah, with Jamaica.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that does not mean that culturally she was raised as a black woman. So that means she was probably raised more. I'm not sure whether her mother is primarily more Mexican than she is Jamaican and all these other things, or did she? Because also her father was Filipino. So let's talk about that. Do you? And then she looks like a Asian woman. You know, do you think that she was coming at this from a as a black woman or as a mixed?
I don't know. I just think that she looked at it as somebody that was very interesting, somebody that was very famous, and he swooped her off her feet and he did what he did. I mean, he showed her a good time and she fell into his web.
No, I'm talking about that if she was a black chick that was raised in the hood, do you think this same situation would have occurred? The same
Where's
exact.
Kim from? Where's Kim from? I mean,
See,
she's a dark skinned black woman.
yes.
What? And he did the same thing. So
Are
where's
we
she
sure?
from?
Did he do the same thing to her exactly, or
Yes, he
because
abused her. He had her on drugs. They were doing drugs together, and they were doing freak offs. Yes, she stopped the freak offs once she started having kids.
so? What's your thought, William? You're the man here, the only man here on the panel, and I do suggest I would like to bring some other dudes up here because I would like to be a balanced panel for that. So,
I think that stuff that Diddy was doing is about the worstest thing you could do, because I mean, even someone lying to someone or cheating on someone is not as bad as, you know, doing what he's doing. He's basically, pimping them and making them do stuff that they don't want to do because they necessarily don't have the money, or just to be in with him, in with Diddy. And he's a black man, so you know most of those people that are like in different races, they want to be black. They may not say it, but they want to be just like black people. They look up to black people.
They want
They
everything
do.
except for the stereotyping behind us, then the negative things, but connected to being black. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just like, nobody wants the negative part of being black, but all the cool stuff that we do, and like just everything.
Yeah,
Like
that's what black
everybody
men
wants
are
to be
looked at.
black.
Yeah, that's when other races, cultural ethnicities, or races of women, when they look at a black man, it is for sex, his penis, and money. When black women look at our black men, we look for love, we look for connection, we look for, we see ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We see this is a partner.
Right, right.
But when they look, the only thing they're not gonna date, no, especially if she's Filipina and she's beautiful, and or Hispanic and beautiful, or whatever, and exotic. It would not make any sense for her to date a broke black man. It wouldn't make any sense when she go to a basketball game or something and sit up in the stands and be chosen at some point if she's seen. You see what I'm saying?
But do
Mm-hmm.
y'all agree? Do y'all agree if Diddy
And
would have said,
wait, sorry.
wait,
And to
hold on,
know.
don't interrupt each other, like because we gotta like let us.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Oh, I just want to go ahead.
I wanted to say something. If
Yes, ma'am.
Diddy, if Diddy would have told Cassie, forget about all the other girls, it's all about you, and I'm gonna marry you. You think he would be in this predicament as of right now?
No.
Absolutely
A-
not.
And do you agree if Diddy right now would call Cassie and say, Cassie, you know what, babe? Because you could tell she was still in love with him and he still loved her. If he would have said, you know what, if you would drop all of this, it's me and you, and we can just ride off in the sunset, and
Well,
I'll
she
take your
can't drop it because
kids.
it's the state. It's
No,
the
I'm just
federal. Oh,
right.
you just
I
saying
know.
if?
I'm just saying if. I'm just making an example. If he could get out of it and she can just drop it and they can run off in the sunset and he would take the kids, her kids, and accept them. You think he would? You think she wouldn't do it?
100, she'd be right on top of it. But you know what? I think the fact that this is a sinking ship, she probably would, especially with that dude. I believe that honestly that guy kind of like put the battery in her back to even pushed this as far as in that thought.
Oh, absolutely, because he probably said.
No, go ahead.
No, I think he's seen her getting abused and was just, talking to her as a trainer
As
because
a
he was her
friend, yeah.
trainer. Yeah, as a friend, and was like, why are you putting yourself? You're beautiful. Why are you putting yourself in this predicament? And da 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 da. And
But hold on, we also
she,
forget the fact that she was FaceTiming him while she was doing it. So he was a part of it too on some wild stuff. So I think that he is like an angel in the situation because he was all with it. I believe that he got with her and then he put the battery in her back to do it because that money was on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Please hold on. Let me say two things. When we were just talking about black men and their penis and their money, well, we know from court proceedings that Diddy doesn't. He's small. He's Tootsie Pot Roll, right? So he's really tiny, right? And that's why he had other men having sex with his women and stuff, right? So, huh?
Allegedly.
No, they said it in court.
Oh wow! I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
What day was that?
I'll say allegedly because I don't want him to get mad at me and try to sue me because I let the talk about. Listen,
because
the thoughts and the things of
like
views of people on the panel does not have nothing to do with alchemizing energy.
Yeah,
because
we're all alleged, but it was in the news.
because there's other podcasters that have talked about the Tootsie Roll and all that stuff.
Yeah, Nancy Grace was on there talking about it. She was like, Diddy, does this look familiar? Does this remind you of something?
And they were saying that he was going after some podcasters that was talking just about that. And they're going to they're suing them for defamation.
Oh no, they talked about it in court though. They Cassie, was it Cassie that said it? They was in the court talking about that he was small, but it's always been known that he was small. Because just think about it, men with big penises don't do nothing like that. I can't say they don't, but it's rare that they do anything like that.
Like to be standing in the corner.
They do that because they're trying to make up for not being mentally feeling like they can't please their woman, so they want to punish her or get off on it. He's using his bitch. That's one thing. So she was strictly with him because one, she may have caught feelings for him, but really it was about the money and lifestyle. But it was definitely not about the sex. Two, you were just talking about how. What was the second thing you just said?
Hold on. You say it wasn't about the sex, but the thing is that she still wanted to marry him.
She wanted him to herself. She wanted him.
Because of how he made her feel.
And she said that she didn't want to do the freak off. She wanted to be just him and her. So she had to like a Tootsie Roll, whatever he had. She had to like that in some way. Because
you can be connected to a person and not be sexually pleased by them. You can be with somebody because you love them, you have a bond with them.
Be sexually pleased by a small penis. You could be sexually pleased by a small one. So I don't think
if you love somebody, I guess you could.
That's a crazy misconception too, because who wants a big horse thing?
It don't have to be a horse, but it don't have to be a Tootsie Pop either. What you call it? But
if you have an experience, I don't believe that it's like that. Like I don't believe that. I would have to see it myself. Like all those people say that. Like even in court,
it might have been. Have you compared it to other dudes that she's been freak offing with?
Like he got a disability.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, Betty, your mic has gone out. Your headphones.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get my other headphones.
Okay, but I would say this, and Vet has a really good point. Is that because if she's probably comparing it to like what's his name, the Punisher? I mean, I'm sure his name is the Punisher for a reason, right? and all the other people, you know what I'm saying, that she's been with, okay.
But she's not the only one that has said that, though. She's not the only one that has said. It's been like talked about in the industry that he's small. He's small, and when you compare it, we're not talking about horsemen, dingoes. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just say an average size, which is what 5-6 inches, right? 7 inches. I mean, it depends on what you're averaging. But I'm just saying 6 inches. Yeah, that's not average. Yeah, well, he's smaller than that. Way smaller than that, from what they say.
Way smaller
Allegedly.
than that? Oh my.
Well, if you're talking about, if you're comparing it to that, yeah, it's pretty small. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh my God. Oh.
And like you said, but again, when you love somebody, all that don't even matter. Y'all can bump coochie noot, whatever.
Y'all can bump Let me play this. Come on, y'all.
That's called a Freudian slip. When I said the first thing I said, you said not necessarily. And then the second time,
go back to the question and the answer for me. Believe that. Go back.
it wasn't a question. It was a statement. It was a statement, and you got to remember stuff when you say it. So let me remind you, right?
Go back so you
The
can
statement
remind
was
all of us.
so the statement was that black women aren't desirable by other races of men. Your answer was not necessarily.
Correct.
All right. So when you say not necessarily, why just say yes or no?
Because that's not a yes or no. It depends on who you
It is
are.
a yes or no.
No, it's not. Let me finish. You can't answer for me. You can answer.
Well, I can answer for the numbers. You muted, ma'am. You muted yourself. You muted yourself. You went out.
I'm
just letting you know.
I'm trying to turn you up, but you muted. I think you got a different.
Yeah, you muted by mistake. But go ahead.
For me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now. Go ahead.
No, I said what I said was, it depends on the level of people that you deal with, because I am a traveling person and I deal with an influx of people. So what you see in your world is what you see in my world. I see a lot of something different, and I travel to a lot of different places. So yes, you can speak for you when you answer that question, but you can't speak for me, because I don't know if you met the type of people that I've met, which is a lot of people. I'm an African. I travel everywhere, so I understand what you're saying, but I did answer your question clearly.
Well, no, you didn't answer it clearly. You gave me your opinion. So what you're doing is you're giving your anecdotal experience.
I give you my opinion. I didn't
cut you off for a reason. I'll let you.
All right. So the conversation is that black women are not desirable by other races of men. What do you think about
Wait, William, go ahead.
William?
I think they are.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course we are. Yes, we are. And that's the brainwashing. Again, that's the systematic brainwashing that they want us to believe, to suppress us. So we don't live in our glory, where we don't shine like we're supposed to, and so we don't self-love. If we self-hate, then we go to others and we mistreat our own. So of course they're not going to be out here promoting, yeah, black women are goddesses, they're exotic, they're the hips, the brains are phenomenal, they're great nurturers. They're not going to do that.
Can I ask something after you're done?
Yes, go ahead.
Just like earlier, I was typing in the chat, but what I wanted to say was, like, with men saying, "Oh, well, we don't like black women and we're dating other races." Like back when we were in school and certain things, those same guys that saying that they don't like black women and black women this and black women that, like, they're saying that because, like, those black women were like laughing at them for like their breath being stank in school, or
exactly
their shoes being dirty, or them not having a good haircut. So,
and remember, that goes with that standards that we were talking about earlier.
So they carry, like, from elementary to middle school to high school to a grown man, they carried that for all those years, and now they still like, oh no, I can't deal with no black women. They wearing weave in their head and all this nonsense. But really, in reality, they like black women. It's just that they're just still holding on to the time that the little black girl laughed at them when they were younger,
when they didn't fit in.
That's a different perspective.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty sad. Wow, when you think about that.
Well, we go back to the self-hate. Yeah.
Welcome to the panel, King Isa.
Hey, how y'all doing today?
Hello,
Hey, so
King
what do you have to
Isa.
say on the subject? What's up?
Not much. It's Izza, King Izza.
Oh,
But
King Isa. I'm sorry, my bad.
no, it's all good. Now, catch me up. What's going on?
All right, so he just said is that a lot of the women, because we just like talked, we just showed a screen showing the women talking about the fact that the guy was saying that black women are not desirable by other races, and she said, well, she's been around the world, you know what I'm saying, and that's not true. And
Yeah,
then
not true.
William said, he said, listen, he went backward. He said, listen, let's go back to the beginning of this. Don't you think that the majority of the men that are talking about that black women aren't desirable, etc., is because the fact that they were the ones made fun of, they the ones that like was called stink breath in junior high and high school, and so they grow up saying, hey, you know what? I don't like the weave in your hair. I don't like this. Black women are they suck, whatever. And we said, that's an interesting perspective. That maybe that's the reason why, because they were the ones demonized in high school or junior high and didn't get no punani, and so now that's the reason why they're like hating on black women. So
Yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, I would argue that black women are the most desirable.
Okay. Okay, King.
You know, now there is statistics that say that black women are the least married, but when you talk about desirability, um, black women and their body has been exploited and exploited way before, hundreds of years. The shape, the curves, all of that has always been desirable. So, I think that would be completely false and inaccurate. But I'm going to back it. I didn't mean to interrupt anybody that was talking with me coming in, so I'm going to step back because I don't want to interrupt the flow.
no, that's cool. No, that's cool. So what we said was that was interesting. William, could you expound a little more about what you were saying? Because he made a really good point. Is that maybe those were the people, and what
Oh,
would
I mean, I seen it like, when we were kids, those guys used to get bullied about, maybe they didn't have clean shoes on, or their parents couldn't afford clean shoes or whatever, and the little girls would laugh at them, or not even just the little girl, the little black girls, the little black boys would laugh at them, and they carried that throughout their lives. And
They
if
carry that resentment.
yeah, they carried that resentment, and honestly, like, even now, or even like back when we were little, you had to kind of step your game up to even talk to a black woman. Like, you had to have your haircut on point. You had to have your breath on point. You had to have your outfits looking right. You can't just, what I'm saying, go up to a black woman and have your shit out of order and just think that you gonna get one, a
now?
good looking woman.
Ronald says, "What school you go to?" I went to a middle school, class school, predominantly black. Everybody was well groomed, and I can't relate. But I'm gonna say this: is that
I'm back. I'm back. My
right?
headphones
So
is good. Okay.
Ronald says that he can't relate because he
Welcome back.
all black school and everybody was well groomed. But I'm gonna say this: we know that there was a reason why they had that whole song called "Bobos." They make your feet feel fine. They cost $1.99. There was some black men and black women that probably couldn't afford the latest or whatever. And if you were trying to get the cutest girl in school, you probably wouldn't be able to get her. So I think a lot of these guys, they say women are hypergamous, but I think men also have a certain level of hypergamy to them,
Yeah, but
where
you
they
know
want
what?
to get the beautiful girl. Yep, go ahead, go ahead.
That's where let's go back to our conversation to where a man got to work for it. That's where the little girl is just, you in high school, she's making you work for it. And she's trying to bring out the best of you just to work for it for her. Like, all them
And
put downs and all that stuff, it didn't even mean nothing. She probably liked you.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And there's no man that want any. Well, I grew up, my dad and brothers and them. A man want to work for what he want, what he see of value, what he see of
Right.
worth. So if he don't have to work for that woman's, but we grew up in all throughout time. You saw how the singers and all that would be singing hard to the women in the audience, and she'd be like, ah, you know what I'm saying? He had to put in some work for that. All throughout life,
I'll pay your rent. I'll cook your dinner too.
Yes,
soon as I get home from work.
Exactly. He wasn't saying what's your credit score? Let's go half. He wasn't saying, well, except for R. Kelly, so let's go half on the baby.
Let's
but that's
go
okay.
50-50.
No,
Soon
he
as
didn't
I
say
get
none of that.
home from work, and then make your, and then give me your money. And then when we sit
Men
at
are
the thing,
hunters.
I want you to pay for everything. You know, all that. That was not the listen. That's the problem, is that they forgot, like the club stopped playing love songs at the
We're
end
not
of
going to go off track. We're not going to get off track, Mark, about the music.
They needed to play the love songs, and then people would know what to do with their woman if they would have kept playing love songs. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You're absolutely right. Yeah, because the whole singing itself, the whole music itself right now is so trash, especially R&B music. And because the singers don't even be singing, they be whispering. What happened to the Whitney Houstons and the Fantasias and when they open their mouth and be singing, you get goosebumps. We don't have none of that. Now, Queen Naja, I just heard her and she was blowing. I got goosebumps. I said, girl. But yes, we don't have real singers that sing from the soul. That when they sing the words, these singers now sing the words, but they don't sing to the audience to make them feel it. Do y'all understand that, right?
From their heart, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To
And
make
even
the
if you didn't experience
vibration.
it, you're supposed to be able to put that energy out there to make them feel like with residuals from Chris Brown. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely. Everybody was like, dog, I ain't even in a relationship, but it made me want to get in one just to break up, just so I can ask him where my residuals. But that's how music is supposed to make you feel. Anyway, let's get back to men out there want to hunt. They want to hunt for theirs. They want to be able to work and provide and do work in order for something that they appreciate and want and value. That's just it. When it's given to them free and easy and all that kind of stuff, they don't. And so these women that they're out there getting, here we go. Those women out there, the passport bros that we talked about before, look what they bringing home. STDs. The females, they come back, they talking about these niggas, these men are sleeping on floor mattresses and all that kind of stuff. They not even up to par.
So let me ask you this, because I've heard
Sorry, guys, my phone went out.
Okay.
But I've heard a lot of women complain that say that the modern man wants to be chased. Is there any truth to that? What do you?
Hell yeah.
A woman of self-respect will never chase a man.
Well,
because she already knows.
That, but do you feel like the modern man wants to be chased?
Yes, they want to be pampered. They want to be in a feminine energy and everything. Yes.
Where do you think that dynamic came from?
Where do we think that dynamic came from?
Yeah.
The emasculation of of society today. They feel some of these are like, hey, if we can't beat them, we'll just join them. Because
I think it comes from the patriarchal Caucasian system that really is like based on the Roman Empire. You don't even want to get me started, but
please don't. And I think it has a lot to do with single mothers raising boys also, because it's hard because I have a son and 2 daughters, but you have to have certain type of mothers can have to raise boys, and you can't be passive, and it's hard for a woman to be in her feminine energy raising a boy at all times. You know what I'm saying? And so because you already know which way that's gonna go, so you have a mother. Most mothers will have more of a masculine energy because she has to be tougher. She has to, set that standard of, hey, don't play with me, because they're boys will try to test their moms at some point, not in an aggressive way, but test her on her limits, like he would his dad. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna fight his mom. But so with that, so you know, you have to have your foot on your son's neck, just as like your daughter's too, along the whole way. So that puts her out of her feminine energy the whole time that she should be, because she has to step into another place. But the ones that don't do that, you can tell, you can surely tell, you can definitely tell. Yeah. All that cuddling and coddling and breastfeeding at yeah, you can definitely tell.
You said breastfeed what at 2?
At 20.
Yeah, they be
Man.
breastfeeding too long. There's too much breastfeeding going on.
At 20. You know what I'm saying?
Right, the breast don't ever come out the mouth. And listen, and I can attest to this because let me tell you what happens in demasculation. There's this thing called a complex that happens, an Oedipus complex that happens with women and their little young boys that can like actually keep going on until that boy turns into a man, where the mother becomes the girlfriend to the man, and he can't even be the father to the child. Correct.
So what do you men think about that? Why are the males like that today? What is y'all's insight on that? Because you can tell us better than we can.
To be honest, I think it's a mixture of a few things. To be honest, when it comes down to like natural selection, a lot of times women usually choose a subset of men. And with the invention of the internet, I think a lot of those men have tried to pass on what you would call game to men, and what they end up trying to do is emulate what they see those top percent of men that end up getting chose. And I also feel like, that's one half, and then you also have another half of it where I think there are some men that are genuinely feel tired of getting rejected, or
I can see that. Yeah.
Right. So I think it's two things, and like it can be two truths and a mixture of both. But I think the invention of the internet and all of these, you got the red pill, right? Culture, or the manosphere. I think I heard y'all talking about it earlier. So you got a lot of men trying to emulate what they think is going to work. And then you also have a lot of men that just genuinely feel tired, because I'll be honest, I'm in Detroit and I don't have issues with women, but I speak to everybody. And there are times where I just genuinely speak, and I feel like sometimes our women think that I'm just, that men are always trying to holler at them, or, come on to them. And sometimes some men get tired of, just speaking and it just being ignored. And some guys that don't have that gusto or confidence, give up. So I think that's a mixture of both.
I can respect that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say,
I can too.
please forgive us women, and I'm gonna just group us all in, because we're all one at the end of the day, all women. You know what I'm saying? We're all
I'm
one.
everyone, yeah.
I'm every woman, exactly. I say that all the time.
Y'all internalize each other's experience. That's pretty much what that
Yeah,
means.
and if we didn't go through it, that a sister did, or a cousin, somebody did. So we're every woman. But what I was about to say is, because most females have been hollered at since the age of 12, 11, 13. You see what I'm saying? And so as you get older, you start realizing, okay, oh, he just, he might not want to F, but okay, what does he want? It starts coming off like that. So yes, I apologize for them, for us, because it do be like that. No, I'm not like that, because I speak to everybody. I be like, hey, what's up? Hey, I like your tie. I'm real quick to give a compliment to everybody, because you never know, they might need it. But yeah, it's because females have been praised pretty much all their life. You had older men trying to talk to the younger girls. You had, then they get older, then it's always been there.
Praised and preyed upon.
Oh yeah, I get it.
That's what I'm saying. Praise.
I totally understand. I get it. But yeah, I just was offering that perspective because I've have experienced it and I have heard it from other men where it's like, the general disposition is negative towards us. And like I said, some men get disheartened. Some keep it going. I never get disheartened. So I think that's the difference. And some get
That's because you think as a black woman, sometimes you have to chase them more to get their attention. And then if you go outside your race, you don't have to do as much work to get that woman.
Okay.
And also,
Because
you
that's
asked
what we was
because
taught.
does a woman pursue a man? Okay, so this culture right now have lost the art of flirting. Women, girls, they don't know how to subtly flirt to let a man know that she is attracted or interested in him without approaching him. You see what I'm saying? Back in the day, we knew how, we know how to do that. We know how to flirt. And I'm not talking about, hussy flirting. I'm talking about just the little smile and then the look away and then the little flip of the hair a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Show a shoulder. That's the little flirting.
It's
And
all in
so that gives the
and
invitation to a man to say, you know what, let me go see if she, let me go see. Let me go and talk to her. See what she talking about.
look,
She
all
ain't
you
said a
gotta
word.
look, all you gotta do is look long enough.
Okay.
That's it. All you gotta do is look long enough,
And see, now they don't do that. They just dress naked. They just dress naked.
yeah,
Yeah, they reveal more.
but see
Yeah.
that'll turn somebody off because at that point that stare is intimate. That dress is for everybody.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But don't
Absolutely.
that open up a door? Like when you dress provocative all the time, showing yourself, that opens up a door to where when girls say, well, he SA'd me or he did this. I remember they used to say, oh, if you wear mini skirts and blah, 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 that's introducing something to that man. Like, oh, she likes that. So, like, we
Well,
go
there's
back.
no reason for a man to essay a woman, no matter what she have on or don't have on. So that goes to his lack of control and his lack of
Right,
communication of what she's saying. You know what I'm saying? So, but it does bring on unwanted attention.
So that
right.
so I was
With the
gonna say
wrong
that because
people, with the
I was gonna
wrong
Yeah.
say
men.
that because we are on alchemizing energy. So you got to keep in mind that how you present yourself is a symbol to the world. Okay.
Yep,
Absolutely.
So if we can acknowledge that we'll wear certain things to draw or attract a specific energy, we can also acknowledge that can be done in a negative sense too. And I won't make any excuse for any man to sexually assault a woman, but
no,
if you don't want to invite that energy, it is wiser to dress modestly if you don't want to invite that.
Absolutely.
and if you
Absolutely. My
want to
mom.
attract, and if you want to attract like a certain energy, not to dress so provocative. Now, did
Yes,
Definitely.
y'all
the
see?
most beautiful thing that we can wear is a smile. My mom,
Now,
that's how she had said. She said the most beautiful thing that you can wear every day is a beautiful smile. And
I
she said, keep
now,
your hair done and a smile on your face. You know what I'm saying? And she said that will get you because you're only gonna smile at who you want to smile at anyway. You see what I'm
100%.
saying?
a hundred
now, did
And,
percent.
y'all
and
ever see where Tony Braxton went to her son's graduation and the outfit she had on? What did y'all think about that? Did y'all
I didn't
see
see
that?
it.
Yeah, I didn't
I didn't
see
see
it.
it. My mom used
Monica,
to
can you
tell.
bring it up?
My mom used to tell us, me and my sister, she said, if you're going to show a little cleavage, a little cleavage at the top, make sure the rest of the body is covered. If you're going to wear a skirt or a dress and they have a little thigh or a little leg showing, make sure the rest of the top is covered. You know what I'm saying? It's a little
Right.
peekaboo, but it's not everything. Don't give too much, because then what else would it have to work for? What they say? Why
Right.
buy the cow if you can get the milk for free?
But it goes right
Am I
back
telling
to
my
where
age?
nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work for anything because it's all like it's given. Like nobody wants to work for it. Just
So
like
so when you
just
say
like
work
just
for it,
like King, just
yeah,
like King, you said that you get tired. And you know, a couple of men or whoever, you know, you're around, they're tired too because they don't want to work as hard. They don't want to work. But it seemed like now y'all don't have to work as hard.
When she say working, she mean courting. She's
Yeah,
mean
court.
the whole courting process of things. But
mhm.
then the men are saying, okay, well, what's courting? Is it to me? I can send you some flowers, or is it buying you a Birkin bag? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
what era are we in?
Yeah.
So
Or
this
you
is
want to
what
go.
she wore to the son's graduation. Looked like she had booty shorts on and like some like fishnet stockings. I'm like,
You know, I don't think men are, scared to court. I think, or excuse me, I think men are actually scared to court. That's actually what I meant to say. Because a lot of times they feel like they're gonna get exploited and manipulated. I personally
Or
don't.
they scared of their feelings.
Right. I personally just don't even believe in dating. I think dating is for the woman that I'm with, in a sense. But you know, that's another topic. I feel
No,
that.
let's stay on that topic.
Wait,
Let's stay on
hold
that
up.
topic. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I
Yeah, go
want to
ahead with
hear
that topic.
with
Okay,
the dating.
so
Like
when I
dating is
say
the most important.
so I don't so when I say dating, I think that's definitely separate from courting. Okay, so what I mean is that when I go on a date, I go on dates with people that are intentional and I know like me. I don't.
That's two of the same. Courting and dating is the same because
I,
when you're courting somebody, you're dating them.
I think courting is getting to know somebody, and you don't necessarily have to go on a date to do that. But at the end of the day, it's not that I don't believe in dating. I just believe that dates are reserved for women that are intentional and I know have interest in me. Like I don't go out on dates with women that I have to guess. If you don't have any intention or if you don't show any interest in me, I'm not going to go and spend money guessing. And
Exactly.
Okay.
I think a lot of men go out into those situations guessing and they get their feelings hurt because they spent money and led with their wallet instead of trying to get to know the person.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're
let
absolutely
me
right.
say this because
Because
my
I've never
high
had that issue in
chipmunk
my life
says,
because I don't
hey,
take women on dates unless they like me. Simple as that.
You're
Oh,
absolutely right about that. And I had a friend, I talked with a friend of mine, a guy friend of mine, and we was having this conversation. And he was like, "Oh, females just want to go out to eat for free and this and another." And I said,
Mm.
"Well, instead of when you ask her would she like to go out to eat, let it be known, hey, I'm getting to know you, you know what I'm saying, let's go Dutch, let's this that, and the other. People just need to communicate.
Transparent.
That is what it's all about, is communication. First of all, we're not going to go on some high-end restaurant or something and this is our first time hanging out. Let's go to the park and sit down and talk. Let's go to Starbucks. Let's just do that, and I'll pay my own, you pay your own, because we're just getting to know each other. And then
but
that's why I can totally understand. Don't have any that cuts out the whole, you paid $100 for my meal and you're expecting, which is crazy, but you're expecting sex at the end. You see what I'm saying? But you
that's what
shouldn't
I
be
was just
expecting a
getting
hundred
ready to
dollar
say.
meal either. You shouldn't be
Can
expecting $100 meal either from somebody that you're not interested in. So
can I?
Exactly.
again, go ahead.
No,
Oh,
I
my,
was agreeing with you. I just said exactly. Keep rocking.
Yeah.
But if you're not
Go ahead.
interested in the person and you go out on a date, that's getting to know somebody, right? If they invite you out to go
No.
somewhere,
No, women know right off the top if we'll fool with a nigga or not. We know at the first 30 seconds of meeting a guy. We know when we look at him if we gonna ever have sex with him or not. And that's just being
exactly.
honest. That is
Because
just
when
being
you
women. We know.
Yeah, because when you meet her, you know, usually she's smiling and she's friendly when she actually likes you. So you already know off top whether or not, you know, y'all exchange numbers and everything like that. And you know, based off of talking with her, like whether or not she's using you for a meal or she's just genuinely want to go out with you.
So High Chief Chipmunk says she
So
doesn't cook. Hold
if
on, hold
you
on,
go
hold on.
out,
Can you hear me? Can you hear
yes.
me? All right. So High Chief Chipmunk says she doesn't cook, clean, contribute, nor commit, but she wants a traditional man. So with that being said, let me go into this because I wanted to show this and get you guys' opinion on it. Let me just like play this real quick.
Yeah. We don't have to take shit off them men like they did. They had to stay with them. Then when you see them up in the paper where they celebrate the 50th anniversary, me and my sister were teenagers, we said, that woman doesn't put up with a whole lot of shit. And that old man sitting there grinning like he getting a credit for it, like he being a good husband. As he done did that woman every kind of way. She got away with it, but she better not do nothing.
So it was more they just really just they just dealt with it.
Yeah, and they go out with their chest stuck out. Like they done all this and that. They done beat the woman, stayed out all night. And back in them days, they had a girlfriend. Time they get paid, they wouldn't go home. They were going buying young women like buying groceries.
Right, and it wasn't really no gossip. It was a secret.
Yeah.
Y'all put stuff. They put stuff under the rug.
Yeah, they sure did. A lot of stuff I didn't tell. I still ain't told.
Right.
And ain't gonna tell.
Yep.
I'm ashamed to tell it. Then a lot of people say, well, you stayed with him. They just don't know. They wasn't in my shoes.
Yeah.
You don't get 5 kids, go out the door with a string of 5 kids, stair step, and go run and get no help. You ain't getting no help. Everybody else is trying to survive too. And the ones ain't trying to survive. Some of them don't want to see you do good no way. Some of them glad to see you get old man and treat you any kind of way. Mm-hmm. And they be the very one to be after. Yeah. I got this man, he got a big house and a Cadillac and a good job. When I told my sister that, she said, yeah, try to take it. You'll find out every bit of it belongs to the wife and kids. You ain't getting nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But they bait them women up, make them think they gonna get all that. And women used to be stupid. Oh, I got me a man. He married up. He got a new car, a new house. What you crazy if I brag for you? Ain't getting none of it. And open them old billfold and put 100 on a whole stack of ones or something. Or you got a billfold packed full of money. You ain't getting none of that either. They just bait you up, make you run after them. And they should run after men thinking they get some money. More players know how to do. This one man said they go out there in them old zoot suits, more broke down hats, and more Stetson shiny shoes, and put a bunch of bills on a big bill or two. Mm-hmm. What you want, I buy anything you want. Them little gals be run them, they don't get nothing. They
right.
Get the short end of the stick.
And so
they be going around laughing about it.
So really, them marriages, what they call the grandparents, lasted because they also the parents of them was against they leaving and divorcing.
And they were religious. They didn't believe in sin to get a divorce. Death do you part. That's what they meant.